Well, hello. Today I'd like to welcome you to... Whoops. Got so excited about this when I kicked the camera. Today I'd like to welcome you to my review of the Matador 992. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And I'm always interested in those obscure brands. What are those obscure vintage brands that you know about that nobody else does? Let us know down in the comments. So, Matador is a company, it was a German company. It was founded in 1895. Let me just get my facts straight here, because I Evernote. And I have a nice little list of show notes here ready for me. The pen, it was made in Germany, but the Matador is actually a trademark of Siebert and Lowen and founded in 1895. Apparently they disappeared around the 70s. And one of the things they're known for, you may have heard of the Matador Click. Did you see a bunch of lights go off? I've got a nifty little thing that's supposed to light up my pen from the back and eliminate some of those shadows. Apparently, it doesn't last very long. Arrgh. Okay, so anyway, get back to the story here, looking off camera. They were especially noted because the Matador Click came out in 1949. It was their first airtight slip cap. This is not a slip cap, this is a 1930s pen, but it made an audible click when it was capped, so it was called the Matador Click. So, kind of want one, I'm curious about it. This is a pen of the 30s made of ebonite and celluloid, and I don't really have much else to say about it, so let's take a look at it. Let's see if I can get this light to work again. So here we are without the light. Here we are with the light. We'll find out in post-production if this is a waste of time or not. So this is the Matador 992. I like... There's a lot of dust on it too. I like the finish on it. Kind of a guilloche pattern. The blind cap has some tooth marks. I like those less. 992 extra fine. Although I think you'll see that I don't quite agree with that designation. Somebody really took a chomp there and liked chewing on the the piston turning knob. We can see some chased whateverness in the cap band. Holy cow, I just cannot keep that second light on. Okay, giving up on the second light. Maybe the battery in it's dead, I don't know, but I know I played with it and this wasn't a problem. So, Matador on the clip, well, an M. Kind of guilloche finish again. And nothing. Unscrew it. That ink window is gorgeous. In fact, I have a photograph, if you go to my Evernote page, which is linked in the video description, where you'll get a photograph of this in front of a spotlight, because it shows it better. You know? Let's see if I can get this to work. Just enough for this. This is worth it, doggone it. Okay. Not the greatest result ever. But you get an idea. It's a spiral ink window, and it, ooh, I think I just figured out why it keeps shutting off. That was an accident, but I think I figured it out. Let's find out if I'm right. Before I tell you what I found out. Nope, I'm wrong. It just shut off again. Doggone it. I'm going to have to pull out the manual. The nib, 14 karat. Matador with an M, and a little, looks like a little more nibbling. Boy, whoever owned this was a hungry bugger. I don't get that whole chewing on pens thing, but you can see a nice concave section. Just fits comfortably in my hand. I like it. I've used this pen before, so I knew I liked it. That's why it's a review, not a first impression. I'm going to fill it up with blue azure ink. This is a Califolio ink. I already know I really like this nib. So I'm just excited to finally share it with you in an official review. Bubbled a bit. More bubbling. This is why I've started to make the filling part of the review rather than previous, because that ink window, yum. That was a fun thing to share. And yes, the camera that photographed the ink window was more intelligent than the camcorder. The pen is a little on the short side, but just long enough I don't need to post it. So I really don't like posting unless I absolutely must. And sometimes you must. Alrighty. As I was writing the name of the pen, I had a memory suddenly of a little piece of vintage advertising. I'd kind of forgotten I had this. So that looks familiar. The pattern on the cap band looks familiar. That does not. I do not see that anywhere on the barrel. Not to say it's not there, it could be just too worn off to see. And then what is it? The pen for life? I think so. And Zeit 50 Jahren, so it's been around for 50 years. Bewährt? My German suddenly just failed me. So I'll put this in that same Evernote link with a translation. But yeah, a little bit of vintage Matador advertising. I'd forgotten I had it till I started to record this, so that's exciting. So let's see how the pen writes. Fun thing, when I was researching this pen, I kept getting references to the Jinhao 992. No, not the same pen. So, Califolio Blue Azure. I think you can already tell there is a teeny bit of flex with this nib. Wetness and flow has it in spades. A smear test. Woo! That was soaking wet, if you're into that. And finally, reverse writing. Oops, there's an E in that word. Actually had that brought up in person that I should do those side by side, the same word, instead of writing the whole reverse writing. And finally, or not finally, but one more thing I want to do. I want to write a full writing sample. I'm a little surprised I'm turning to Jim Rohn for this, but I want a long quote, and this was the long quote that I found right away when I was looking for a quote. Okay, I find myself as I'm writing holding it here rather than here. And finally, the world-famous Peer-Gustafson test, where we take this pen to its extremes. We're going off-roading, is what he calls it. Woo! Okay, already failed that test. But I think you already saw this is a great writer. And as I've said before, not every pen... Oh yeah, we do not like this test, do we, Mr. Matador? So, I'm not even going to bother finishing that test. But as I've said before, this test is a test of taking a pen to its extremes. There was no problem till I took it to its extremes. So clearly, not a pen for art. Just like a Toyota Camry, it's not a car for off-roading through mud and bogs and badlands. So, a Toyota Camry. Besides off-roading my pen, sometimes it's kind of fun to see if it fits in my pocket, which it does very well. So, maybe not a pen I off-road on the badlands with. Maybe this is a pen I write with. Fancy that! But I continue to do the Peer-Gustafson test because it's just added information about the feed and the nib and how the ink flows in this pen. So, am I thrilled? Absolutely. This was a fun one. This was a fun vintage find. I didn't have to do any repairs on it because I purchased it from My Uber Pens, which is now known as Proto Pens, and I actually put the sale link in the video description, but you'll have to hunt around. There's a few Matadors out there. I was just curious tonight. I did some searching. I found some Matador Clicks. I found some Matadors for as much as $900. I won't be buying one of those. But what a great writing experience. Till I went off-roading. What a fun pen. This is truly a great, great, great pen. The nib is small, and it works for this pen. So, anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And again, what are those vintage pens that you love, those vintage makers that you love that maybe most people haven't heard of? This isn't from some small country with only limited production. This is a German pen, and had one of the first successful slip caps. So let us know down in the comments. And as always, I want to thank you for watching. And after a little musical interlude where we tour the pen, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.